Well, Ethereum differs from Bitcoin. Actually, Ethereum was initially a fork of Bitcoin, by the way, but with an added feature, which is smart contracts. So what they wanted to do on Ethereum was to say, let's use blockchain technology not just to store value, but now to store information. Ethereum is as a smart contract platform actually also has something called the EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine. So you can run entire programs and conditional contracts on Ethereum. And Ethereum itself is 100% reliable. It has not had a single moment of downtime since inception. It's one of the few blockchains that has never been down. And then if you needed to do more things on Ethereum, you can build what they call layer 2s on top of it. So Ethereum is essentially infrastructure that now is catching the attention of two industries. The first is the financial sector. The stable coins became really viral, a breakaway product for crypto. And that's like the ChatGPT moment. There's $250 billion worth of stable coins. The vast majority of those are minted on Ethereum. Then the Genius Act was passed by this administration and this Congress, and that greenlighted the proliferation of stablecoins onto the blockchain. So banks are now building stablecoin products. That Treasury Secretary Bessent thinks that could get to $4 trillion. That's exponential growth, burning gas on Ethereum. And then we have Project Crypto, which is the SEC wanting Wall Street to build on the blockchain. Now, all of that collectively, from a Wall Street perspective, is like 1971 for the dollar. And what I mean by that is, in 1971, the dollar went off the gold standard. So in 1971, the dollar became synthetic. And gold was what people bought as a hedge against that synthetic dollar. So you had gold as the trade, and that would be the Bitcoin equivalent. But actually, the synthetic dollar is what created the rails for Wall Street to build all their future products. The futures, curves, derivatives were all because the dollar was a synthetic product. If the dollar was backed by gold, Wall Street would be still a very small business. Well, Wall Street now is going to be building its entire infrastructure onto the blockchain. And the blockchain they're choosing is Ethereum. So this is the 1971 moment where Wall Street is essentially capitalizing on tokenizing the entire world onto a blockchain. That's a huge opportunity. The second story arc benefiting Ethereum, though, is AI, because now we're moving towards an agentic AI world, but with real products. Like AI is principally been trained on like internet and, I don't know, social media, but it hasn't been in the real world because it hasn't ingested us as we've moved and physically moved or even have independent products. That's a vast amount of new information for AI models to ingest and store. But then now you have to be sure that all the instructions being sent back to the robot are proof of the originator. In other words, you need a token. I mean, LLMs use tokens anyways, but now you need like a token that interacts across chains. And that's where AI is going to build on Ethereum, because you essentially need what they call proof of human. We need to prove that this lawnmower got a real instruction from another chain or another vendor. And so that is all being built on Ethereum.